There's truly only two things you can suffer: your imagination and your memory. If you wouldn't have memory of the past and who you were and all the things you're carrying right now, no matter how big the event was in the past, would you be able to suffer it? Would you be able to feel pain? And the same way, if there was no tomorrow and you couldn't project yourself with your imagination into the future, could there be any worry? So the solution is truly that you have these two faculties, but right now they're playing against you. You don't know how to use them because they happen compulsively in a conditioned state of consciousness. And I want you to realize for a moment that your mind is the condition. The mind is conditioned because the mind has form to observe. The mind cannot observe something that is not. It can only observe things that are. And things that are essentially are perception in our mind. And as long as there's perception, there's going to be form. And we have certain labels, we have certain judgments over things. And as long as there's judgment, and as long as there are labels, and as long as we have a picture of reality, a concept of reality, a picture and a worldview of ourselves and others and opinions, and we're full of them, we will always be limited to what our mind can perceive in those limitations. So in order to be free of our mind, we need to realize that we are enslaved to the condition that we have set in our mind. Because the only condition truly is the mind. The only thing that makes you feel like you're separate from anything else, making you feel like you don't belong, or making you feel like you're not connected to everything around you, is your mind. If your mind wasn't there, would there be any disconnect? Or would you be connected to everything around you? The sense of I we have, and what many call the ego, is exactly that. It's the mind presenting itself as a separate entity, a separate being. But check with yourself. Please check with your reality. Are you truly separate right now? The very breath you're breathing, where does it come from? Is it just you breathing from within you? Or is it that you're actually bringing in something from external into you? And you're letting go something from you out of you. And how often does this happen? Every single day, 24 hours. So you're never disconnected. What we call breath is that connection to everything. When you inhale, you're taking in everything that is around you and bringing it into you. And that is how your body is completely responsive to everything that is happening right now. And this is not just your immediate environment, everything that exists in this moment. When you're breathing in, you can bring it into you and make it an experience. And as you exhale, you're settling in, you're coming back into your physical vessel. Let it resonate within you. And so our breath is the bridge. Our breath is the connection to everything. And that is why all meditation practice start with watching the breath. Because breath is the most fundamental understanding that we have, that we're connected to everything around us. And without that connection, we wouldn't be able to live, even for a moment. You can test it out, hold your breath. Maybe you're going to be successful for a minute or two. But at one point, you will need to take one more breath. And why? Because you're needing it. The life within you is dependent upon the external environment. And so there's always this interconnected play with it, the internal and the external, the internal and the external. And so it's just in the mind. It's just in the mind that this connection doesn't exist. We're forgetting about it. Even though this is happening 24 hours, the breath is happening 24 hours and we're forgetting about it. The breath reminds us every single moment that, wow, I'm connected to everything. Inhale, exhale. Every single moment it reminds us that we're one, not two, one, and that we're dependent. And this is a one breathing cosmos. Every entity on this planet is breathing in order to be here. Not for one moment can they hold something within themselves and be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to do my own thing now. That's just a thought. That's where the suffering starts. That's where the conditioning is. that we think we're separate. And this is where all the suffering starts. This notion, this imagination, worrying about the future, bringing up past memories that are often not that pleasant and sometimes very painful. We're just reiterating it. We're just bringing it up. We're bringing all those stories again back in here. And I love to say that very often, even when I speak with my clients, the word remember. You see, re and member. You're making a past story that is not even right now reality or present, and you're bringing it back into this moment. You're making it a member of this moment again. It is no more a member. It's not any more present in this moment, but you're bringing it back. So you're remembering that story of the past. And so you're experiencing again what you have been experiencing. And if it was a painful experience, you're bringing back that pain. You're making that pain a member of your present moment. And if it was a pleasant experience, you're making that love, that gratitude, again, a member of this present moment. And so having memory and having our imagination are beautiful tools. It took millions of years of evolution for our brain to develop to that capacity where we can memorize things, where we can imagine things into the future, to plan ahead. But right now, in our century, it became the source of our suffering. It became the biggest obstacle because we have not taken a single moment to see what is happening within us, to see what is truth, to see how this mechanism is working, how this body is working, how this mind is working. We constantly are doing. We're just constantly trying to figure out things, make money, have a family, have status. We're chasing all those things that don't truly mean anything to us, and we're just doing them for reasons of feeling good enough, feeling like we're belonging somewhere, looking for connection. And these are all true desires. This is not to judge. We all have that. We all want that. And that is true. But as long as we're looking externally for that, we're never going to be satisfied. We're never going to be fulfilled. Because externally, as long as it's external, it will always be limited. It will always be a limited supply. And the moment you have access to those emotions of feeling good enough from within yourself, when you access that space within you, when you feel your being complete and whole, now that supply is limitless. And you can access it whenever you want to. There's no limit to how you can feel. Now you can feel as joyful as you want, as happy as you want, as sad as you want, but not compulsively, but by choice. See, once your memory and once your imagination, you're bringing it into awareness. Once you know how to cultivate them and get to know them and know how to use them when you use them and put them aside when you don't use them, as long as you know how to put them aside when you don't use them, you're going to be free of your mind. And that is truly the end of suffering. And that requires practice. That requires daily practice. No matter how spiritually advanced you are, no matter how many practice you do, every single day, the mind will find some form to attach to. Every single day, there are going to be new things, new experiences. And so we need to reflect. We need to turn inward again. It is this play of stillness and movement every single day, the dance between being and becoming. Every single day, this is happening. This is a natural unfolding of the universe. And we're just in it. And we're seeing this stillness and movement, inhalation, exhalation, receiving, giving. And in between is us, is this moment. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Let me know down in the comments how you're feeling right now. What are your methods of cultivating awareness? How do you feel about your own sense of imagination, your own memory? Are there still obstacles in your life? And if yes, how do they create obstacles in your life? How do they show up in your day-to-day life? And what can you do about it? Thank you so much for tuning in. I wish you a wonderful day.